yet to understand. They're terrified, honestly. They know your royalty and you'll be running this world someday. You got a lot on your lunch plate. I just need you to stay educated. You ain't no different from your classmates, but I just know what you can do when you dedicated. I can tell the way your head shake, that bit full of dreams and you better chase it. What if I said life is just one big field trip and you the driver, my little nigga, choose your destination.
I just want you to think about it, wrap your mind around it. Do you hear what I'm saying? I just want you to think about it, wrap your mind around it. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Last but not
Peace, family. It's Noble Mufti Brian Hicks today here from the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, presenting for you once again our Holy Day Book Club reading. You know, we're not going to prolong, and we're going to get right into it. And the book I will be presenting for you today will be one of these great Moorish paradigm journals. And I think it is an excellent read, and I do think you all will enjoy it. So, give me a quick second, and I'll pull that up for you all. But before we do start, we will start with our Moorish American prayer. And it goes a little something like this. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Salam Alaikum, Ayah Ayah, Hotep, Islam, Amen.
Peace, 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 and peace. So today, as it was stated earlier, we have for you the Moorish Paradigm, Book 3, entitled Science, by Hakeem Bey. And the preface reads, "The Journal of the Moorish Paradigm is a journal dedicated to Moorish science, history, and civilization. The goal is the formation and documentation of a Moorish paradigm or a worldview. The Journal of the Moorish Paradigm is also designed to chronicle the events of this Moorish paradigm. In this ongoing journal, we intend to introduce you to the knowledge and information from a perspective that you will find nowhere else." So getting right into it, Moorish theoretical science. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. Moorish, of the Moors, their culture in the style of the Moors. And it reads science, the systemized knowledge derived from observation, study, and experimentation. What do we mean by Moorish science? First, let us define each word. According to these definitions, Moorish science is the collected and systemized knowledge and facts of life and nature based on the observations, studies, and experiments of the Moorish civilization, past and present. The reason it is said past and present is because the present civilization we live in is the Moorish civilization, only presently under the custodianship of European Masons. It is our job as Moorish scientists to go back and rebuild the collected and systemized knowledge of the Moors, adding new insights and eliminating the false notions and philosophies that have crept in over the last 500 years. Moorish science is based on 4 broad areas, which can be symbolized by the 4 elements of man or nature. These 4 elements are earth, air, water, and fire. Fire, spiritual science. The spirit is that which motivates man and nature to do all that which they do. The spirit exists and motivates man and nature to action from an incorporeal realm beyond the realm of the so-called physical world of space and time. The spirit is the basis of everything in the physical world. It is the cause of causes. It is the hand that fits perfectly into the glove of nature. Thus, the study of the spirit is the study of the basis of man, God, life, and motion. It corresponds to the fire because fire can build or destroy life. It is the great catalyst and transformer of creation. Getting into the next element, which is earth. Natural sciences, the systemized study of nature and the physical world. This includes zoology, botany, chemistry, physics, chaos, geology, ecology, etc. Natural science corresponds to the element of earth because this science deals with the physical world, its properties, and interrelationships. The next element is air. Mathematics, the group of sciences, including arithmetic, algebra, geometry, calculus, etc., deals with quantities, magnitudes, forms, and their interrelationships, attributes, etc., through the use of Arabic numerals and symbols. The science of mathematics corresponds to the element of air because it deals with the mind, intellect, and abstract thought of a highly refined and rarefied quality. Last but not least, we have the element of water. Social sciences, the study of people and how people live together as families, tribes, communities, nations, etc. Essentially, the science of man in society. This includes the sciences now known as sociology, anthropology, psychology, political science, economics, etc. The social sciences correspond to the element of water. Man and his interrelationships with society should flow smoothly like water. In the same way, water always seeks its own level and tends to fill every niche. So people seek the social interaction of other people, and tends to fill every social, economic niche in society. Thus, by the study of these four areas of Moorish science and the integration of this ongoing study in one's life, one will address the four elemental needs of man, symbolized by the four essential elements of earth, air, water, and fire. Many disciplines and ways of the life today only address one or the other of the four elements, but very few, if any, address all four in and of themselves and must be combined with other disciplines in order to be complete. More science seeks to be a complete way of life, addressing all four elements of man and life in this universe. As mentioned in the previous issue, our Moorish ancestors considered man to be an exact replica or a model of God and the universe, only on a smaller scale. Man was considered to be the microcosm, the small scale copy of the macrocosm, which is God, the universe. This is recorded in religion as man being made in the image and likeness of God. Since the greater or the macrocosm usually affects the lesser or the microcosm to a greater degree, we look to the greater to see what is in store for the lesser. This is important part of the Moorish cosmology or the Moorish paradigm. Cosmology is a combination of cosmos, meaning world or universe, and logy, meaning logic or science. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary defines cosmos and cosmology as cosmos, a combining form meaning world or universe. Cosmology, the theory or philosophy of the nature and principles of the universe. Moorish science or Moorish cosmology is based on the zodiac wheel, which is its key. It is the greatest invention and gift given by the Moors to the human family of the planet Earth. The 360-degree circle of the zodiac wheel is the universal stage on which the whole drama of man, God, and the universe is played out. It is ingenious in its simplicity and incredible in the far reach of its applications. I refer to this science as Moorish cosmology, Moorish science, or the science of the zodiac, as opposed to astrology, due to the commercialization and negative connotation that have become attached to the word astrology, quote unquote. In reality, astrology means astrologic, the science, logy of the stars or heavens, the astro. The basis of the whole Judo-Christian Islamic tradition is the zodiac, because the priesthood in all three religions hid this fact from the masses. The masses are ignorant of this relationship and will fight this truth tooth and nail, unfortunately, to their own detriment. The priesthood in all three religions forbade the science of the zodiac, and still do because it is such a threat to their power. One who understands the science of the zodiac will possess the master key to understanding and unlocking the mysteries of life, and will be well qualified to navigate the course of their own life without the need of the priest or religious dogma. So, let us look at this gift of the ancient Moors to the human family of the planet Earth. The zodiac wheel is a 360-degree circle divided into 12 equal parts of 30 degrees each. 360 degrees, 12 equals 30. The question then may arise, why divide the circle into 12 equal parts and not some other number? Good question. Herein lies the beauty and the basis of the zodiac wheel. Since ancient times, the circle has always been used to symbolize the all, the supreme oneness, the undifferentiated universe, also called the circle of life. The word zo or zoo in the word zodiac means animal or life forms. Thus, our Moorish ancestors realized that to understand the circle is to understand life. In order to analyze the circle of life, you must break it down and understand all its parts and their interrelationships. The first and most simple breakdown of the universe and life, or the circle, is into two equal but opposite parts, male and female, positive and negative, yin and yang, etc. The number 2 is the number of duality and polarity. In religion, this was developed into God and the devil, good and evil, portrayed as conflicting instead of complementing one another. In the science of the zodiac, these two parts of the whole or circle is referred to as positive and negative polarity, or masculine and feminine gender. So, the next logical step would be to divide the circle into 3 equal parts. This is the 3 phases of life and existence: a beginning, a middle, and ending. In religion, this is called the triune God, or 3 gods in one. In Hindu, this is the God creator Brahma, sustainer Vishnu, and destroyer Shiva. In Christianity, this is called God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. In the science of zodiac, these three phases are called cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So continuing, the next and last step necessary to fully understand the circle would be to divide the circle into 4 equal parts. In the science of the zodiac, these 4 equal parts correspond to the 4 essential elements that compose the universe: earth, air, water, and fire. Thus, by geometrically dividing a circle by 2, then 3, and then by 4, you have the minimum that is necessary to break down and understand every possible angle and measurement of the circle. When you divide by 2, you get polarity in gender. When you divide by 3, you get 3 phases of life. And if you divide a circle by 4, you get the 4 essential elements of life and the universe. So mathematically, there are only 12 possible combinations of polarity, phase, and element. This is the reason why the zodiac wheel is broken down into 12 equal parts. By doing such, you cover all the possible combinations, forming the basis of life. Below is a chart showing the 12 combinations of life, polarity, phase, and element, and the logic of the 12 signs of the zodiac. And I'll give you a few seconds to look at this pictorial, just so you can grasp it a little more. And we shall continue. In this chart, you have the sign, and next to it, you have the symbol for that sign. Then you have the polarity, phase, and element. This comprises the zodiac wheel. This is the greatest gift of the ancient Moors, the Chaldeans, to humanity. Try to memorize every aspect of this chart. Since it is based on logic or astrologic, this should be easy. Notice in the previous chart and the picture above, the polarity alternates from positive to negative in succession all the way to the end. Positive, negative, and so on and so forth. There are 6 positive or masculine signs and 6 negative or feminine signs. Positive or masculine polarity or gender is energy or matter spiraling outward, or in outrushing vortex like a sun. Negative or feminine polarity or gender is energy or matter spiraling inward, or in inward rushing vortex like a black hole. There are deeper aspects of this which we will explore in later issues. Also notice that the phases go cardinal, fixed, mutable, then again cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable, and so on and so forth. The cardinal signs signal the beginning of the season. Thus, Aries corresponds to the spring, which we are in now. Cancer, the summer. Libra, the autumn or fall. And Capricorn, the winter. Cardinal means beginning. In this case, the beginning of the seasons. The fixed sign corresponds to when the seasons are locked in or fixed in. The fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and my favorite, Aquarius, are the 4 beasts of the Bible, who are said to have the likeness of man: Aquarius, a bull, Taurus, a lion, which is Leo, and an eagle, Scorpio, the scorpion, which was also symbolized by a serpent as well as an eagle. Last but not least, you have the four elements. See the chart above. Notice that they go fire, earth, air, then water, fire, earth, air, then water, fire, earth, air, then water. Are you seeing a pattern here? Thus, it can be seen that the 12 signs or division of the zodiac wheel are based on the 12 combinations of the life principles and is based on science and mathematics, which is facts, and not superstition or emotional religious mystery. 360 degrees, 30 degrees, polarity, the three phases of life, the four elements are facts, realities, and not mere beliefs or opinions, the basis of religious mystery. Thus, the wise Moors navigated the course of their lives and the seven seas based on facts, science, and reality, as opposed to religious mystery, belief, and superstition. It can be proved to you that everything in the universe has polarity, or 360 degrees, 12 of those equaling 30 degrees, beyond a shadow of doubt. But you cannot prove to me beyond a shadow of doubt that Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. Thus, the Moors in this day and time must once again navigate our lives and our nation, utilizing natural science, mathematics, social science, and spirituality, as opposed to religious mystery, superstition, and, worst of them all, ignorance. The zodiac wheel is the foundation or master key of civilization and can be applied to every sphere of human activity, including the government. Here, you see it applied to the human body, going from Aries, which rules the head, to Pisces, which rules the feet. And I'll give you some time to look at this diagram here to grasp those ideas and concepts. And we'll continue. So let us reacquire the discarded stone of our ancestors, the zodiac wheel, and let us once again make it the head of the cornerstone of the new world order. The zodiac wheel knows no hatred or prejudice, for it spins equally above the head of everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, gender, or nationality. Let us use these mathematical and scientific tools to solve our problems, minus religious or political wars. See, 360 degrees and 30 degrees is 360 and 30 degrees, whether you are Christian or Muslim, Jew, Asiatic, European, socialist, capitalist, etc. In later issues of the Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, we will look at the deeper into the zodiac and how it can be applied to various aspects of life, such as government. Now, we will look at different ways in which the Moorish science of the zodiac can be and has been applied in the past as well as the present. So, Moorish civilization or applied science. The sign of Aries, for instance, is said to be very outgoing, pioneering, and enthusiastic even, sometimes headstrong and foolhardily. This is not because these energies are emanating from the constellation called Aries. These qualities of Aries come from the fact that its polarity is positive, giving it an outgoing, extroverted disposition. Its phases is cardinal, from whence derives the qualities of pioneering and leadership. and its element is fire, which gives Aries its authentic, enthusiastic, and energetic qualities. The constellation or group of stars called Aries were just a marker that happened to mark the time when the sun was manifesting the qualities when the zodiac, as we know it, took its present form. Another word, at the time when the zodiac took its present form, the vernal equinox, when the sun was in front of the constellation called Aries. Equinox means that there was an equal number of day and night hours. Many of you may have heard the saying that this is the age of Aquarius, but few really understand what this means. Let us look into what it meant by these various ages, such as the age of Aquarius. So you see, the vernal equinox does not always stay the same because of the 23 or half degree tilt of the Earth's axis. The vernal equinox slides back one sign every 2,160 years. This 2,160 year period is what is known as an age. The 2,160 year period when the vernal equinox was in the sign of Aries, that age was called the age of Aries. It says in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, page 6, we measure time by cycle ages, and the gate to every age we deem a milestone in the journey of the race. An age has passed, the gate unto another flies open at the age touch of time. This is the preparation age of soul, or the kingdom of Emmanuel, of God, Allah in man. In 1886, the year Noble Drew Ali was born, was right on the cusp, the boundary lines between the 12 signs, marking the transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius began approximately in 1886. The 2,160 year period before that, beginning in 273 BC, was the age of Pisces. 2,160 years before that, the age of Aries began, whose time was between 2433 BC and 273 BC. The age of Taurus was between 4593 BC and 2433 BC. Since the present zodiac and month scheme has the vernal equinox in the sign of Aries, we can say that the present zodiac must have originated sometime between 2433 BC and BC, when the vernal equinox took place while the sun was in the constellation of Aries. During the age of Aries, the cataclysms of 1500 BC took place. It was most likely after these cataclysms that the modern zodiac wheel took shape, and is most likely a readjustment of an even older zodiac, readjusted due to the cataclysms of 1500 BC. The transition from the age of Aries, the ram, to the Taurus, the bull, is symbolized in the Bible, where Moses says that he represented, I am that I am. I am is the key words of the sign of Aries. See the previous page. Also, the golden calf that Moses was upset about symbolized the age of Taurus, this Apis bull of Egypt, which they were symbolically leaving behind in Exodus. The sacred symbol of the kings in the ancient empires was the bull. This is the period or the age of Taurus, when kingship and the rule of the men first became global, patriarchal, the patriarchal age. Excuse me if I'm butchering that word. The transition from Aries Pardon that. The secret and hidden key to the Bible is the zodiac wheel. The 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 signs of the zodiac. Israel means is, which is Isis or equals the moon, Ra equals the sun, and El equals the stars. Israel. Thus, Israel means symbolically the sun, moon, and as above, so below. Jesus and the 12 disciples symbolize the sun and the 12 zodiac signs. The 4 fixed signs symbolize the 4 gospels and their alleged writers, as well as the 4 beasts in the book of Revelations. Jesus' life, in fact, is no more than a solar cycle, the crucifixion of plant and animal life in fall and winter, the resurrection in the spring or Easter, and the ascent into heaven during the summer. The name holy in Holy Bible comes from the word helios, meaning sun, and biblio, means book. Thus, the Holy Bible translates into the Sun book. In the Holy Quran, there is a surah called Buruj. If I'm saying that correctly, if I'm not, please chart it to my mind and not my heart. Or the zodiacal sign. According to the Yusuf Ali translation, page 1714 in his notes, he says, here is an appeal to 3 mystic symbols, one of which is the glorious sky with the broad belt of the constellation marking the 12 signs of the zodiac. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, on page 5, it says, man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but it must be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. He must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know that the cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirits of the Almighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. Islam. The station of the sun are the 12 signs of the zodiac. Truly, knowledge and the application of the science of the zodiac will lead us to victory. In a book called The Great Seal by Paul Foster Case, he says, the conceptions behind the pattern of the government adopted in 1776 are expounded in the lectures, dramatized in the rituals, and summarized in the symbols of Freemasonry. Remember, as discussed in the previous issues, that Freemasonry is a legacy of the Moors passed to the Europeans and formed into speculative Freemasonry by Sir Francis Bacon. That's funny. Speculative Masonry is Moorish science based on mathematics, the zodiac, and geometry. On page 6 through 7, Case says Paul Revere begins his famous ride after an adjourned meeting of a Masonic lodge. When Benjamin Franklin helped draft the Declaration of Independence, he was past Grand Master of the Pennsylvania Freemasons. George Washington was a Mason, and so were 12 of his generals. Again, you will notice that George Washington was symbolically the sun, and his 12 generals symbolized the 12 signs of the zodiac. 1 plus 12 equal 13. The number 13 has always symbolized the sun and the 12 signs of the zodiac. Case says on page 9. And if you really pay attention to it, you notice that Yahshua or Jesus was the 13th one. Throughout the history of the United States, the number 13 has been prominent. The spirit of 76, 7 plus 6 equals 13. July the 4th has 13 letters. 13 ships made up the first navy of the United States, the 13 colonies. On the back of the dollar bill, you have 13 red stripes and white stripes in the shield. You have 13 arrows, 13 stars in the crest, 13 berries, and 13 leaves in the eagle's right claw, etc. The honor scope of the Declaration of Independence set up for the hour at which the document was signed on July 4th, 1776, shows the sun in 13 degrees of the sign of Cancer and makes the ascendant 13 degrees in the sign of Scorpio, which sign is represented by the number 13 in the ancient Rosicrucian and Masonic tarot keys. Nothing happens here in America by coincidence. Everything is secretly based on Moorish science, also referred to as, you guessed it, Freemasonry. Also, if you look very closely at the web in the background of the dollar bill, you will notice that the web is actually the zodiac wheel divided into the 12 houses of the zodiac. The zodiac is the key to the federal government. Right here is the gematria letter code of Kabbalah. On page 11 of the Great Seal, Case goes on to say, based upon this fact that in Hebrew and Greek, every word is a number, is a method of biblical interpretation called gematria, a term derived probably from the Greek geometria, whence comes the English noun geometry. Rabbinical commentators on the Old Testament used gematria long before the Christian era. Their precedent was followed by the Kabbalists and Rosicrucianists, who did so much to influence Freemasonry. Gematria is a number or letter code used by the Kabbalists. Notice the zodiac and planetary correspondence in the code. Remember earlier, we remarked that the priesthood of the Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition hid the science of the zodiac and gave the masses religious mystery in its place. They themselves were well versed in the science of the zodiac and communicated with one another in code. Kabbalah is the secret, esoteric side of Judaism, just like Christianity has its Gnostics and Masons, and Islam is Sufi and Islamic orders. We will go deeper into the Kabbalah, Masonry, and Sufism in later issues. As mentioned in previous issues, when Ben Bay, or Benjamin Banneker, designed Washington, D.C., the science of the zodiac was incorporated into every aspect of its design. In the patterns made by the streets can be found the symbols for all the planets and signs of the zodiac. Also, there are streets that line up with the sun during the vernal equinox, the autumn equinox, the summer solstice, as well as the winter solstice. It is designed to be the universal apprentice hall of the science of the government, also referred to as the North Gate, as in the North Star or Polaris. The science of the 12 signs of the zodiac and the 12 combinations of life that it represents is also the basis of the clock, the standard used to measure time, dividing the circle into 12 equal parts called what? Hours. It is also the basis of the standard of measurements of space called the ruler, or ruler which is divided into 12 equal parts called, you guessed it, inches. Thus, the 12 combinations of the zodiac is also the foundation of the measurements of time in space. What is remarkably ingenious and consistent gift the ancient Moors or the Chaldeans or Chronos have given the world with the zodiac wheel. In the following issues, we will look at how the Moorish theoretical science and the science of the zodiac is applied to the government and other areas of life. Now, it is time for our Moorish history segment, a little Moorish history. In this issue, Moorish history segment, we will look at a wide array of its bits and pieces of Moorish history that will strive to gradually weave into a coherent whole. This is a very undertaking, This is very hard. This is a very hard undertaking, an undertaking where we are bound to make some mistakes due to the degree to which history has been hidden, suppressed, destroyed, and distorted. I ask that in any area where we may make a mistake to please write me and bring it to my attention. I do not claim that my historical research is infallible, and I will make public any mistakes that I realize or that has been brought to my attention. That being said, here is some information I found in my researches or was sent to me by our informal information network that is truly international in scope. So, the Fez. Notice the crown on Noble Drew Ali's head. It is called the Fez. The Fez is the national headdress of the Moors and represents the heights of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Whenever you see the Fez worn, it shows that this person wearing it is either a Moor or that they are a student of someone knowledgeable in Moor science, history, and civilization. Islam, I agree. This is a picture of Deuce Muhammad Ali. He was a Moor and had a very strong influence on Marcus Garvey. Noble Drew Ali referred to Marcus Garvey as a sort of John the Baptist who came before him in order to prepare the way. Marcus Garvey traveled extensively throughout the dominions of Mexico, the Americas, the Caribbean, and Africa. To the right, here you see a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with the Fez on, clearly showing the influence which Noble Drew Ali and the Moors had on him. As a matter of fact, in the Supreme Wisdom, Volume 2, page 84, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, I have always had a very high opinion of both the late Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, and admired their courage in helping our people and appreciated their work. Both of these men were fine Muslims. The followers of Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey should now follow me and cooperate with us in our work because we are only trying to finish up what those before us had started. Thus, it is seen that by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his own words, felt that he was only carrying on what Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali had started before him. So he would be almost like a fixed sign. This is a picture of C.M. Bey wearing the Fez, national headdress of the Moors. C.M. Bey was a student of Noble Drew Ali and Masonic science. Below his picture, it says that he is a 33rd, and 360-degree Master Mason. It was C.M. Bey who openly revealed the fact that Moorish science originally was not religion in the present sense of the word, but was in fact natural science and a way of life based on mathematics, scaling from 0 to 9, the science of the zodiac, and geometry. He built upon the foundation laid by Noble Drew Ali and wrote The Clock of Destiny, Books 1 and 2, and The Circle of Life. He also filed what he called the Zodiac Constitution in the federal government between 1947 and 1951. The Fez is a symbol of wisdom and power that goes hundreds of years into the past. In this picture, you have a group of bronze Phoenicians, ancient Moorish navigators. They are all wearing the conical national headdress of the Moors called the Fez, and is also known as Heman. Here are two more Phoenicians statues showing Phoenicians wearing the Fez or the Heman. Here is a picture of the ancient Moors known as the Assyrians or the Cushites wearing the Fez. So as you can see, the Fez is indeed an ancient headdress. Here are statues of the ancient Moors called Hittites or Canaanites and the inhabitants of Cyprus, Notice that they are all wearing the fez. Noble Drew Ali said the ancient Canaanites, Moabites, Hamites, Cushites, Hittites, etc. were all ancestors of the inhabitation of North and West Africa, including America, the dominions of a Mexican. To the right, this picture from India is of the Hindu god Vishnu, reclining and brooding over the face of the deep. He represents the preserver or sustainer of creation. Notice that he is wearing, you guessed it, a fez. To the left, this is a picture of Narmer-Menes, the first king of the United. The so-called white crown of Upper Egypt, again, is the fez. On this stela is the bull motif representing the age of Taurus from 4593 to 2432 BC. This was the age in which male rule and the institution of divine kingship was established by the ancient Moors. Prior to this was the matriarchal period. This mural shows the ancient Moors called the Elamites. Notice that they also wore the fez, the same as that of the white crown of the Upper Egypt. It was said by some of the Moorish elders that the fez was originally white, according to the book Ospi. The fez became red when an ancient master refused to reveal the secrets of his psychic abilities. He was thrown into a lion's den, and his blood dyed the white fez red. Thus, the fez also became to symbolize one who is faithful even unto his death. This is also symbolized by Haram Abif, a Masonic ritual. Very interesting. This is a picture of a Toltec king wearing the white fez inherited by the Toltecs from an earlier Olmec. That was a picture above. This picture somewhat shocked me. It shows Hitler's Nazis wearing the fez. Islam chic. Hitler studied and understood Moorish science. He also was well aware of the fez and its significance. To the right, this is J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI. For decades, he is seen here wearing the fez. On his fez, it is a crescent moon and star with a scimitar sword above it. According to C.M. Bay, the crescent moon and star represent the Moorish woman and child, and the sword above it represents the persecution of the mother and child. The crescent represents the mother or the widow in Masonry, as well as the institutions teaching Islam amongst our people in this hemisphere. The star represents the child, the so-called new Moors, those being born into Moorish science. In the book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 1 through 5, it says, the apocalypse, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another woman in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. And its tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as he was born. Very interesting. And indeed, something to study. But continuing, J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI represents the dragon spoke of, and the COINTELPRO program of the 1960s, whose official stated purpose was to stop the rise of a quote unquote black messiah. COINTELPRO represents that which was to devour her child, the black messiah, as soon as he was born. This so-called black messiah is the child the woman was travailing to give birth to. But despite the dragon's attempts to devour the child, the next verse in the book of Revelation says, "And she brought forth a man child," come on, "who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." Thus the child, the new Moors, were born during the 60s and survived despite the attempts of J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO, the Great Red Dragon. The next series of verses describes a war in heaven between Michael and his angels and the dragon and his angels. Heaven is a state of mind. Thus, the war in heaven is actually referring to a war for the minds of our people. It is a war of the paradigms. The new Moors paradigm is now slaying the dragon, and his paradigm is being cast out of heaven from the minds of our people. So dealing with the connections. As you can see, this is a relief from the Mesopotamia showing Owens, the fish man. He was said to have brought the knowledge of civilization to that region. It was said that he came out of the sea to teach men by day, and then he would return to the sea by night. Some have speculated that these were highly advanced seafaring Moors coming from some unknown location via ship or submarine and educating the local population there in the arts and sciences of civilization. These people eventually traveled from the west, from Mesopotamia to Canaan, and became known as the Phoenicians. Later, they traveled further west into Africa, where the Dogon tribe still preserves the memory of Owens and refer to him as Nomo. I've heard that. Notice Owens is carrying a little bag, which was said to contain his gifts to man. Here is another picture of Owens carrying this little bag. In all of the picture, Owens, he carries a little bag. Here is an Olmec relief from this hemisphere showing someone in some sort of vessel carrying the exact same little bag as carried by Owens on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. This once more shows definite connections between both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Here is a picture from Chichén Itzá, Mexico, showing colossal statues. If you look closely at what is on their hands, at what is in their hands, you will notice that there are once again carrying that same little bag. The civilizations all around the earth was founded by the ancient Moorish navigators, Islam. Also notice that feathered crown they are wearing is the same as that wore by the Persian's noble in the picture on the right. These facts show a definite connection between the so-called Old and New World long before Columbus. It also shows that the oceans were not as barriers to travel for the ancient Moors, but was in fact that which facilitated travel for the sea-faring ancient Moorish navigators who also settled in the various islands in the Pacific Ocean also. And here we have a few more connections. This is a picture of a Mayan noble. Notice the loincloths called almazer extending from their waist and then down between their legs. And here's that pictorial. In the book, African Presence in Early America, Harold G. Lawrence quotes on page 201, Columbus was startled to find that the Atlantean Indians bartered a woven cloth identical in style, design, and purpose to those who he had seen in Western Africa. That is a great connection. The admiral made several notices of this woven cotton and referred to it as alamazar, a cloth the Moors imported from West Africa into Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. The Indians seemingly wore the alamazar in the same manner as the Africans, right over here in America. Ferdinand Columbus describes the Indians' cotton garments as breechcloths of the same design and cloths as the shawls worn by Moorish women of Granada. Cortez said the men wore breechcloths about their bodies and large mantles, very thin and painted in style of Moorish draperies. Notice the print design and notice the mantles around their upper bodies. Here is an alamazar, a breechcloth worn in West Africa. In this picture, notice the alamazars, mantles, and the turbans worn by these Mayan nobles. This is more proof of the ancient Moorish civilization in this hemisphere and its connection to North and West Africa, all of which is the ancient dominions of Atlantis, or Amexa. Mexico is synonymous with Amexa. To the right, this is a picture from India showing that the Kushites there also wore alamazars and turbans. This shows the extent of the worldwide civilization established by the ancient Moors. According to the Legends of the Jews by Ralph Ginzberg, Nimrod, the son of Cush, or the son of Ham, was responsible for setting up the first world order after the flood. We were the masters of the seven seas. One of the great dynasties of India was called the Maurya dynasty. Maurya equals Moor, dating from 321 BC. Once you grasp this Moorish paradigm, almost everywhere you look, you will either find traces of the ancient Moorish civilization or its influences, and this is without doubt or contradiction. Even the Muslims in the Philippines are known as Moors to this very day. Moorish influence can be even seen amongst the Ku Klux Klan. And yes, I said that right, the Ku Klux Klan. I present to you a Ku Klux Klan manual. It is known as their Quran, after the Moorish Quran. In fact, one of the officers even called Caliph after the Moorish term for successful or ruler known as Caliph. The Ku Klux Klan spearheads the battle against the Moors and Moorish civilization after the Union of 1854 through 1865. Their use of these terms show the degree of their familiarity with the Moors and Moorish civilization. If they were not fighting the Moors here in this hemisphere, how would you account for them knowing Moorish terminology? They did not travel to Africa. They learned this terminology from the Moors right here in America. One day, while researching, I found an old book called Records of the Court of Assistance of the Colony of Massachusetts in 1630 through 1692. I found two interesting references to Moors. One reference on page 118 says, Mindcarry, the blackamoor, was admonished and dismissed. Notice that the adjective black is put in front of Moor. The other reference is on page 76. George Pay, a Moor, was to remain with Mr. Cuddock until advice from England and advice to be sent to the Ray. These two references show that legally they had to deal with Moors in a special way. Now, I would continue, but here at the BBT, we do like to encourage study and inquiry. So if you would like to inquire about this book, I encourage you to contact me personally at brian.hicks1990@gmail.com or you can also go by www.mypdfbooks.com and feel free to purchase any of our plethora of books that we have available to you. So that will conclude tonight's reading. It was a pleasure to have you here. And without further ado, I will close with our Moorish American prayer. And it goes as follows. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Alakim, Aya Asha Aya, Hotep, Islam, Amen. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light, family. And we'll see you next weekend.
At least my little love, here's these words for you. Nothing on earth could compare to the work for you. I'm up all night and all day doing work for you. I never knew love to be pure and so absolute. You are the future makers of great men. No need to rush it right now. It's a lot to take in. Trying to make it in the mix for the tricks off of kids who come from broken homes and they only want to fix. Doing good for yourself was your one and only wish.
That was a good reading, man. You inspired me. I gotta go back to